Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are going to look at the next game study based on the bishop sacrifice on the h7 square. We have seen some games before where we see the bishop is sacrificed on the h7 square. If you remember my previous topic of the Greek gift sacrifice or the Greco's sacrifice, where the bishop is often sacrificed on the h7 square. This game can be taken up as a continuation of the same topic, but the positions which come are not exactly the same. Let's get started with the game. So d4, d5, c4. This is the starting of the Queen's Gambit, and here, as I have told you before, we will discuss the Marshall variation. The move nf6 was played by the famous American master Frank Marshall. Okay. Although this opening has some disadvantages, we will see what are the points, negative points of the move nf6. Now after the move c into d5, immediately black has to capture with the knight. Now after the move q d5, knight c3, queen is attacked, queen moves back and white gets the move e4. Okay, so knight takes d5. And the black knight looks well placed in the center. So this is a slightly tricky idea. So when a master plays the position and an amateur plays the position, same position, the thought process is very much different. So firstly, black knows here that the move e4, which looks very inviting, is not good actually, because after the move knight f6, if white has to play e5 again, then the knight permanently settles on the d5 square. Now this square is a good post for the knight. Okay, it's on the open file. Okay, and soon we see that such a square is also called a strong square, a square which cannot be attacked by opponent's pawn. The square has to be near the center. It should be higher on the rank, generally 5th rank or 6th rank. Here it is on the 4th rank. But the knight is well placed, it's in the middle of the board. And soon black will get the moves bishop f5, c5, attacking the center, and then e6. And black might even become better once the white center collapses. Here after the move nc3, which seems to give good center to white, black has a counter tactical move e5, creating very nice tactics. After d5, there is bishop c5, which gives very good. bp4 is blunder because of queen a4 check. Knight cannot come to c6 because of dc6. But after bishop c5, black's bishop is very active. He is about to castle and knight can come to g4, attacking the f2 pawn. Move de5, queen into d1 check. If king d1, then just knight g4, creating a double attack on the pawns plus the f2 square. Okay, and after nd1, knight into e4, we can see that black is already slightly better. Material is regained, black knight is slightly active, the center pawns have got traded, so both bishops are open and the position has already become very slightly marginally better for black. After nd5, white plays the right move in the game, the move knight f3, which stops the move e5 first, and e4 is not running away, as can be seen from the analysis what we follow. So if black tries to play the move bishop f5, we should always know that in Queen's Gambit the move bishop f5 is often tactically met by double attack on b7 and d5, usually with the move qb3, which is not working right now as a double attack. If a knight is already protected. But now comes the good move nd2, threatening e4, knight has to go back to f6, and now comes the move queen b3. And we note that the position has become already slightly minus for black, because see, he has to play something like queen c8. Playing b6 will make this diagonal permanently weak. Okay, and after the move queen c8, white can easily go g3 g2 and start putting pressure on the b7 pawn. Threat would be knight e5, attacking f7, two attacks on f7 and two attacks on b7. So the bishop placing is really nice, castle will be there, and after some time, after the moves knight h4, it won't be possible to stop e4, and the black position will be in huge pressure after white gets the center pawns rolling. Okay, so black play is now really becoming slightly worse because he is not able to stop white's e4. So in the game, black played the move e6. As per the modern perceptions, I think black should go for the move knight b6. Whenever attacked by e4, black should go knight b6, and he can consider playing g6, bg7. This should be, I think, modern handling of the position after e4. Knight can go to b6, then bg7, and then later on try to play c5 or e5 break. Although white is still better after, but I think this has to be, the knight has to go to the b6 square. Fortunately, as we see, this is an old game where black was not aware of what white is trying to get. So black tries to develop normally, trying to get a roughly level game, but because of the good center control, it never actually happens that way. So after e4, black went knight f6. According to me, this knight f6 is the real problem. Still, knight b6 would have offered better chances. But then e6 doesn't go so well with knight b6. Still, I think after knight b6, knight c3, bg7, bd3, castle. This position, although slightly passive for black, after the move c5 is still, I think, decent for black. Black can hope to generate some play by attacking the center pawn on d4. In the game, after e4, black played nf6, and after knight c3, white first tries to control the center properly and then push one of the pawn, d5 or e5, at a later moment. Basically, black is neither playing actively nor is able to hold white's progress in the center. That is the main reason for black's downfall in the game. So bishop b4, trying to keep the bishop active, putting pressure on the e4 square. Black wants that white should play the move e5 and knight once again gets the move d5. But white will be very careful when to play e5. Okay, so white played bd3. Still he is keeping the center intact and will commit one of his pawn after some time. Black played the move nd7. Black should try to play the move c5. So nd7 goes very well. Knight d7 and knight f6, and he can try to play the move c5. White plays castle. And here it was perhaps absolutely necessary to play the move c5. But still we can say, still white has good initiative after e5, knight d5, knight into d5, ed5. Let's try to take stock of things now, as we try to do always. We see that white's development is 1, 2, 3. Pawn on e5 contributes to the development. Pawn has reached the 5th rank. Bishop on c1 is open, and what we see, the move is white's. So white has extra development, 2 of them. Black is still struggling. Okay, knight on d7 is not fully developed. Bishop on b4 is developed. White here has a very strong move, knight g5. So the knight is heading to attack f7, and after the move h6, white can get the very strong move, queen h5, putting pressure on f7, and after castle, removing the pin on the h5, white has got the very strong move e6, and we can say that it's almost game over. After knight f6, ef7 check, king h8, queen g6, putting pressure on h7. One threat could be knight h7 here, and after hg, bishop g5, bishop takes on f6 followed by knight on h7 or from the h5 square. Direct threat is bf6, queen f6, queen h7 knight, and hardly there is any defense. Black's extra piece is of no use. So this is just to give you some idea. Even after c5, the play was not really holdable. Already things have gone beyond repair for black. Okay, let's go to the main game and see what happens. In the game, black played the move castle, and if you have seen my previous lecture on the Greek gift sacrifice, you will notice that the white pawns are about to be placed in a similar way. There is a missing black pawn on d5, which is a typical characteristic of the Greek gift position. That is the only factor which is different here. Otherwise, all other factors are matching exactly like a copybook Greek gift sacrifice. Okay, so white went for the move e5, and he is preparing for the bishop h7 sacrifice, followed by knight to g5 and queen joining to h5, which is the main part of the Greek gift sacrifice. Black went knight d5, but here things are not that straightforward because of the presence of knight on d5. For instance, those who know the game will think that after bh7 white wins the game very easily, but there are few complications. After bh7 check, king h7, knight g5 check, king g8. If white goes queen h5 instantly, then there is the move knight f6. Knight attacks the queen, and after pawn takes f6, knight takes f6. Although white is still much better, but we can't say that it's a forced win. After the queen moves, immediately black will take bishop into c3, not allowing any e4, and he can try to defend the game still. Okay, although I would say after bishop f4, be5, white's position is still far better. Okay, but there is no forced knight here. So white has to improvise on this slightly. The knight on d5 makes slight difference as compared to the normal Greek gift sacrifice. So after the move bishop h7 check, king h7, white smartly uses the move knight d5 at a right moment. First knight g5, and now seeing what black is going to do, where he is going to put his king, white will decide at which point to take knight d5. Let's say, for example, if king moves to g6, which is usually the main defense. Now here qg4 is not that effective. This is normally the way to play. But after qg4 here, we can consider the move nf6 easily. Okay, because two knights are controlling on f6 square. Then nf6, ef6, knight f6, queen has to go to g3. Then knight h5 attacks the queen. So black can try for some repetition idea in this way. Okay. So here white goes for the move qd3 check, very strong. If the king moves to h5, then queen h7 check, kg4 and qh3 mates. See, these are all various mating patterns. It's very useful if we try to understand and remember them. After qd3 check, only move f5, and now see, this is the point. Not taking on nd5 helps white to use the tactic knight e6. Knight attacks the queen and rook. Not only that, but after the only move queen e7 or queen e8, knight takes d5, knight goes for free, because if queen into e6, then knight f4 would be a knight fork and the queen would be taken. Means the queen has to move away, after which knight f8 can be taken before is hanging. Queen g3 check is there. We can easily make out white has taken pawn on e6 for free, recovered the piece. He will get some more material here, at least knight f8, and white is winning. Okay, there are too many tactical concepts in this game. Many a times people feel that after bh7 check, we should just play king h8 and not take the sacrifice. It's okay, we lost a pawn, but nothing much happens. But I will show you a way how to play against this king h8 idea also now. First, let us complete the variations related to king h7. So after king h7, knight g5 check, king g8, white goes for the better move. First knight d5, now compelled to take e d5, otherwise just the piece is lost. Knight attacks still b4 and queen h5 is anyway threatened. So e into d5, queen h5, and this we have done before also. After the only move rook e8, there is a series of moves which forced a mate. See, queen h7 check, king f8, queen h8, ke7, queen into g7 is not a forced mate. So white goes other way around. First queen f7 check, king h8, queen h5 check, kg8, queen h7 check, king f8, queen h8 check, ke7, and queen takes on g7, leading to a checkmate. So this is the basic final position of the Greek gift sacrifice, which we are getting exactly the same in this game. Now let's end the whole thing by completing the idea of king h8 when black is not taking the bishop on h7. So after bishop h7 check, king h8, white has more than one way of converting the game here. White can simply retreat the bishop to c2, threaten queen d3, knight g5 and win the game. Okay. Now c3 can't be taken because after bishop c3, bc, knight c3, queen d3, queen attacks the knight and also settles mate on h7. But I would like to show you another very interesting attacking idea, how the white pieces can be taken to the king side quickly. Knight goes to g5, intending queen h5, and after which bishop will move and discovered check happens. So g6 forced, queen goes to g4, and now if c3 is taken, knight c3, bc, bishop c3, white has a very simple tactic, qh3, queen attacks the bishop, and after bishop takes a1, bishop g6 check, kg7, qh7, and it's checkmate. The qg4, it's almost forced to vacate the h5. White queen is about to come to h4 and settle on the h6 square. So king g7, queen h4, protecting the bishop. Basically the idea is to play bishop g6 now, followed by qh7 mate. So black has to bring the rook to control the h7 square. But now we see that lot of attack is there on the h6 square, and white forces a series of moves around mating 5 or 6 is there. After the move, knight e6, fe6, qh6 check, king f7. See how all the moves are getting forced. Queen g6 check, king f8, bh6 check, king e7, qg7 check, ke8, and bishop g6 mates. And if moves to e7 directly after qg6 check, then qg7 check, ke8, and bg6 mate. This is another very important idea to keep in mind. It is related to the bishop h7 sacrifice. Okay, so this was my idea of extending further the Greek gift concept. I hope you are enjoying these lessons. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.